The Vikings, a name that echoes through history. These fierce warriors hailed from the icy lands of Scandinavia. They emerged from a world of fjords and mountains. The Vikings were more than just raiders. They were explorers, traders, and skilled craftsmen. Their sagas and legends continue to captivate us. The Vikings left an indelible mark on the world. The Viking longships were technological marvels of their time. These versatile vessels were key to the Vikings' success. Longships were designed for speed and maneuverability. They were built with a shallow draft. This allowed them to navigate rivers and coastlines with ease. The ships could also withstand the open ocean's harsh conditions. The longships were powered by both sail and oars. This dual propulsion system gave the Vikings flexibility. They could navigate quickly and quietly, even without wind. The ships were adorned with intricate carvings. These carvings often featured fearsome beasts, reflecting the Vikings' beliefs and traditions. The longships could carry dozens of warriors. They also transported cargo for trade and supplies for raids. The construction of these ships showcased the Vikings' advanced craftsmanship. They used skilled woodworking techniques and knowledge of naval architecture. The longships were more than just vessels. They were symbols of Viking power and ingenuity. The late 8th century marked a turning point in Scandinavian history. The Viking Age dawned, bringing unprecedented expansion and change. Overpopulation strained resources, making life difficult. The lure of new horizons beckoned. The Vikings, known for their adventurous spirit, seized the opportunity. This era saw the rise of powerful chieftains. Their longships allowed unmatched agility on rivers, coastlines, and the open sea. The Vikings, driven by a thirst for wealth, set their sights on targets that promised lucrative rewards. Monasteries, scattered across the coastlines of Britain and Ireland, became prime targets. These religious institutions, often repositories of gold, silver, and precious artifacts, offered tempting prizes for Viking raiders. The Vikings, skilled warriors and strategists, exploited the vulnerabilities of these undefended centers of wealth. Word of successful raids spread like wildfire, attracting more ambitious Norsemen to join the plunder. The Vikings, unbound by a centralized authority, operated in independent bands, each led by a chieftain who commanded loyalty and respect. These bands, often comprised of skilled warriors and seasoned sailors, formed a formidable force, striking terror into the hearts of coastal communities. The Vikings, however, were not solely driven by greed. They also sought land, recognizing the limitations of their own homeland. The fertile lands of England, Ireland and Francia, present-day France, offered opportunities for settlement and expansion. Viking raids often served as precursors to colonization, as they tested defenses and identified suitable areas for establishing a foothold. The Vikings' reputation as ruthless raiders preceded them, amplifying their impact. Tales of their brutality and swiftness spread throughout Europe, creating an atmosphere of fear that often paralyzed their enemies. The Vikings, masters of psychological warfare, understood the power of fear and used it to their advantage. The Viking Age, born from a confluence of internal pressures and external opportunities, marked a pivotal period in European history. The Vikings, often portrayed solely as barbarian raiders, were far more complex. They were skilled seafarers, navigators, traders and craftsmen, capable of both great brutality and surprising adaptability. Their longships, a testament to their shipbuilding ingenuity, allowed them to traverse vast distances, connecting Scandinavia to the wider world. They established trade routes that spanned from the Caspian Sea in the east to North America in the west, exchanging goods, ideas, and cultural influences along the way. The Vikings, despite their reputation for violence, were also capable of integration and adaptation. They established settlements in various parts of Europe, intermarrying with local populations and contributing to the cultural melting pot of the time. Their influence is still evident today in place names, language and genetic heritage across the British Isles, Ireland and beyond. The Viking Age though relatively short-lived, left an indelible mark on the world. They challenged existing powers, expanded the geographical horizons of their time, and left behind a legacy of exploration, adaptation, and cultural exchange that continues to fascinate and inspire today. Their story is a reminder that history is rarely black and white, and that even the most feared warriors can leave behind a legacy that extends far beyond the battlefield. The Vikings' reputation as fierce warriors preceded them. They were masters of surprise attacks, appearing on the horizon with terrifying speed. Their long ships, sleek and swift, allowed them to navigate rivers and coastlines with ease. The sight of a Viking longship struck fear into the hearts of coastal communities. They unleashed their fury upon unsuspecting victims. The Vikings were relentless in their attacks. Armed with axes, swords and spears, they swarmed ashore. Monasteries became prime targets for Viking raids. The monks were ill-prepared for the Vikings' ferocity. The Vikings showed little mercy. The raids were swift and brutal. The Vikings plundered treasures, taking anything of value. They were not above taking captives. The psychological impact of these raids was devastating. The Vikings instilled a deep-seated fear in the hearts of the people. News of Viking raids spread like wildfire. Coastal communities lived in a perpetual state of fear. The Vikings' reputation as ruthless raiders became ingrained in the collective memory of Europe. The Vikings were strategic in their choice of targets, often exploiting weaknesses and maximizing their gains. They favored coastal areas, utilizing their superior naval skills to strike quickly and disappear before reinforcements could arrive. Monasteries, often located in isolated areas and lacking strong defenses, proved to be easy prey for the Vikings. The Vikings' raids were not random acts of violence. They were calculated assaults aimed at acquiring wealth and resources. They targeted centers of trade such as towns and villages located along rivers and coastal routes. These locations, often bustling with merchants and goods, offered rich pickings for the Vikings. Word of successful raids spread quickly, attracting more ambitious Norsemen to join the plunder. The Vikings, operating in independent bands, each led by a chieftain seeking glory and riches, formed a formidable force that terrorized Europe for centuries. Their success stemmed not only from their ferocity in battle, but also from their ability to adapt and exploit opportunities. The Vikings, while feared for their raids, were not solely driven by greed. They also sought land, recognizing the limitations of their Scandinavian homeland. Raids often served as reconnaissance missions, allowing them to assess the land, resources and defenses of potential targets for settlement. The Vikings, often stereotyped as savage barbarians, possessed a keen strategic mind that went beyond mere raiding. They were master tacticians, utilizing their knowledge of the sea, weather, and local geography to their advantage. They planned their raids carefully, taking into account tides, winds, and the layout of their targets. Their success depended on meticulous planning and coordinated execution. The Vikings were also skilled negotiators and diplomats. While they were not averse to using force, they also understood the value of diplomacy and trade. They established trade networks throughout Europe and beyond, exchanging goods, ideas, and cultural influences. Their ability to adapt to different cultures and situations was key to their success. The Vikings' organizational structure also played a crucial role in their success. They were fiercely independent, yet they understood the importance of unity and cooperation when necessary. Viking chieftains, while vying for power and prestige, would often band together for larger expeditions, pooling their resources and manpower. The Vikings' legacy as raiders, while undeniable, should not overshadow their other accomplishments. They were explorers, traders, and skilled craftsmen who left a lasting impact on the world. Their story is a testament to human ingenuity, adaptability, and the enduring quest for new horizons. The Vikings, often remembered for their fearsome raids, possessed a more nuanced identity. They were shrewd traders who established a vast commercial network spanning continents. Their economic influence connected the East and West in a complex web of exchange. This mercantile spirit was a crucial aspect of Viking society. Their mastery of the seas played a pivotal role in their trading prowess. These vessels facilitated both raiding expeditions and peaceful commerce. The Vikings connected distant lands and diverse cultures. Their trading activities were not limited to plunder. They engaged in mutually beneficial exchanges. From the icy north, they brought furs, walrus, ivory, and amber. These goods were highly sought after in Europe and the Byzantine Empire. The Vikings quickly learned the art of negotiation. This mercantile spirit fostered entrepreneurship and innovation. They developed sophisticated shipbuilding techniques and navigational tools. The Vikings were active participants in a globalized economy. The Vikings' trade routes, dubbed the Silk Road of the North, crisscrossed Europe, reaching as far as the Byzantine Empire and Abbasid Caliphate. They navigated rivers, seas and portages, establishing a network that facilitated the flow of goods and ideas. This network had a profound impact on the economic and cultural landscape. From the east, they brought back exotic spices, silks, silver and glassware. These goods enriched their lives and fueled a demand for more. The Vikings established trading posts and settlements at strategic locations, further cementing their influence and facilitating the exchange of goods and cultures. Their interactions with the Byzantine Empire proved particularly fruitful. The Vikings, renowned for their martial prowess, served as mercenaries in the Byzantine army. This close contact exposed them to new ideas, technologies, and luxury goods. The Vikings' trading ventures faced risks like treacherous seas and piracy. However, these challenges strengthened their resolve and resourcefulness. Their ability to adapt and forge connections solidified their position as masters of trade. The Vikings' legacy as traders and innovators extends far beyond their own time. Their voyages expanded geographical horizons and left an enduring mark on societies. Their influence is seen in goods, ideas, technologies, and cultural heritage. Their shipbuilding mastery revolutionized seafaring. The Viking longship's design allowed unmatched navigation. This design impacted shipbuilding traditions for centuries. Their trading posts evolved into thriving urban centers. These centers attracted diverse merchants and settlers. The Vikings shaped urban landscapes and economic development. Their legacy lives on in cultural exchange and ideas. They facilitated the transmission of knowledge and art. Their sagas preserve a rich oral tradition. The Viking spirit continues to inspire today. The Vikings, driven by curiosity and adventure, pushed the boundaries of exploration. Their voyages, fraught with danger, were fueled by ambition and a deep connection to the sea. Their exploits, immortalized in sagas, captivate our imaginations. Mastery of shipbuilding and navigation enabled them to traverse vast distances. Their longships, designed for speed, navigated rivers, coastlines, and the open ocean. They relied on celestial navigation, using the sun, stars, and birds. Knowledge of wind patterns and currents allowed them to predict weather. Their voyages were strategic, seeking new resources, trade routes, and settlements. Facing overpopulation and dwindling resources, they looked beyond their borders. Explorations led by chieftains or tales of distant lands shaped their destiny. Their voyages faced challenges like storms, shipwrecks, and hostile encounters. These challenges strengthened their resolve and respect for nature. Their exploits are a testament to overcoming adversity and the allure of the unexplored. Among the Vikings' most audacious ventures was the colonization of Greenland, led by the legendary Eric the Red. Exiled from Iceland, Eric discovered Greenland in 982 AD, naming it to attract settlers. His tales enticed many to join him, establishing the first Norse settlements. The Vikings adapted to Greenland's harsh conditions, blending their traditions with Inuit practices. For centuries, their settlements thrived, showcasing their resilience and adaptability. The Vikings reached North America 5 centuries before Columbus. Archaeological evidence and Viking sagas support this remarkable feat. Leif Erikson set sail from Greenland around 1000 AD, discovering Vinland. They established a settlement, explored, and encountered indigenous peoples. Vinland was rich with resources, but their stay was short-lived. Conflicts and internal disputes led to their departure. The Vikings' voyages expanded geographical horizons and showcased their seafaring skills. Their story continues to inspire awe and wonder. Beyond fierce raiders, Viking society was complex and structured. Daily life revolved around nature, survival, and community. Vikings were skilled farmers, craftspeople, and storytellers. The longhouse was the heart of the village, housing multiple families. Built from timber and thatched roofs, it provided shelter and social life. Families gathered around the hearth, sharing meals and stories. The longhouse reflected values of kinship, cooperation, and shared responsibility. Craftsmanship and self-sufficiency were highly valued. Men and women possessed essential survival skills. Men were skilled woodworkers, blacksmiths, and shipbuilders. Women produced clothing and tapestries. They managed households, prepared food, and raised children. Vikings found time for leisure and entertainment. Games of skill and chance provided amusement. Skalds captivated audiences with epic tales. Music, with lyres and drums, expressed emotions and beliefs. The Vikings preserved their history, myths and legends through oral tradition and runestones. Skalds, revered poets and storytellers wove together the past, present and future. These tales offer insights into Viking values, beliefs and their place in the cosmos. Sagas recounting heroes and mythical beings form a cornerstone of Viking literature. These tales blend history with fantasy, preserving history and teaching lessons. Sagas like the Saga of Eric the Red offer a glimpse into Viking psyche. Runestones provide a tangible link to the Viking past. These monuments offer valuable historical and linguistic insights. Runes preserve personal names, lineages, and glimpses into Viking beliefs. The Vikings left a rich cultural legacy through sagas, runestones, and artwork. Their stories continue to captivate and inspire, connecting us to the past. Storytelling connects us to the past, illuminating the human experience. The Vikings envisioned a world ruled by powerful gods and goddesses, embodying nature, emotions, and the struggle between order and chaos. Their mythology reflected their connection to nature, warrior ethos, and understanding of life and destiny. These deities were intimately involved in mortal lives, shaping fate and the cosmos. Odin, the All-Father, was a god of wisdom, war, magic, and death. Depicted as a one-eyed wanderer, he sought knowledge, sacrificing his eye for wisdom. Odin represented the thirst for understanding and the power of words. Vikings sought Odin's favor for wisdom, courage, and protection. Thor, the god of thunder, embodied strength, courage, and nature's power. With his hammer Mjolnir, Thor defended Asgard and Midgard from chaos. He was a protector of humanity, his laughter a comforting presence. Thor's strength inspired Viking warriors in battle. Freya, goddess of love, beauty, fertility and magic, embodied desire and life's cycles. Depicted with falcon feathers and a cat-drawn chariot, she was both nurturing and fierce. Freya influenced love, protected children and granted victory in battle. Her dual nature reflected the Vikings' understanding of life's interconnectedness. Death, for the Vikings, was a transition to another realm, a continuation of their journey. Their beliefs about the afterlife were reflected in their burial practices, offering solace and inspiration. Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain, was reserved for those who died bravely in battle. This warrior paradise promised eternal glory and camaraderie. Valkyries escorted worthy warriors to Valhalla. These fierce beings chose the bravest heroes. Valkyries embodied courage and the importance of facing death without fear. In Valhalla, warriors feasted, drank mead and engaged in eternal combat. Their days were filled with feasting, sparring and camaraderie. Valhalla embodied the Vikings' belief in an afterlife filled with action and glory. Those who did not die in battle faced a different fate. They journeyed to Hell, a realm of shadows and mist. Hell was a continuation of life, albeit in a more subdued form. The Vikings accepted that death came to all, regardless of their deeds in life. Woven into Norse mythology is the prophecy of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, a cataclysmic event ending the world as the Vikings knew it. This apocalyptic battle symbolizes the cycle of creation and destruction and the ultimate triumph of fate. The Vikings embraced it as part of the cosmic order. Ragnarok, though terrifying, represented renewal and rebirth. A new world would emerge, fertile and green, ready to be populated by surviving gods and humans. The Viking Age, a period of intense exploration and cultural exchange, eventually drew to a close. The rise of powerful kingdoms and the spread of Christianity diminished their influence. By the 11th century, Viking raids had largely subsided. However, their legacy continued to resonate in history, language and culture. The Vikings integrated into the societies they encountered. They intermarried with local populations. Their languages enriched English, French and Russian. Place names in Europe bear witness to their presence. Their artistic traditions continued to inspire. Their sagas preserved their history and myths. These stories continue to resonate with modern readers. The Vikings were complex individuals. They were fierce warriors, skilled seafarers and shrewd traders. Their legacy continues to captivate our imaginations. Their story remains a vibrant part of our collective heritage.